Donald Trump has just warned us that everything's about to escalate in Iran. In fact, he has said the big one is coming. What did he mean by the big one? And why is this? Why now? What is going on? Now, I didn't plan to do a live tonight, but the gravity of this really hit me, and I thought I got to talk to you guys. So, what's cooking? A lot of things, and there's a lot of potential threats that maybe he's got to jump on. Maybe he's got to make something happen and happen fast. Now, there's a couple elements that may be driving this fast. The more conventional element is the fact that there's a lot of concerns about the fact that we're running lower on missile interceptors. It was thought that when we took out the command structure, which happened as pretty much planned, that the response of the Iranian missile fuselages, the missiles they've been launching all over the East and at us, would not be quite as robust as it has been. And we've had to use more interceptors and use them faster than was anticipated. And this is so true. The problem is so stark that we're pulling missiles, interceptors, out of apparently Japan and South Korea. We're talking THAAD systems, maybe the Philippines, places that where they're needed to defend in case China goes after Taiwan, which China may see this as a good open sign, but things must be pretty dire in Iran for us to be pulling these missile systems. And we're not just pulling missiles. Here's the other thing that's strange. We're not just pulling missiles to replenish the ones we're taking. Reportedly, we're bringing the launchers. That would suggest that maybe Iran is going to do a bigger launch, or they think they will, than what they've already been doing. Now, how they come up with that? Because we were told that Iran only had something on the order of 100 launchers. And when this campaign started, and surely we've been taking out their launchers as much as possible. When it said we've been in a race to take out their launchers uh, before we ran out of, and their missiles before we ran out of interceptors. Maybe we're not doing so well with it, or maybe it's because the campaign is going longer. But you would expect for that what that would mean is we'd be sending missiles, not launchers. Launchers are harder to replace. Launchers are something that harder to replace back in the area where we're trying to watch China. So this is pretty stark. It's telling us something. I'm not sure we can read the entire story about that, but there's more to it than that, perhaps. It was pretty obvious we were about to hit Iran before we did. When we were going to hit wasn't necessarily obvious, but you can bet that if Iran had the capacity to up their game on building a nuclear weapon, they would have started to accelerate. Maybe not to the final point until the Ayatollah had reached a fatwa or been eliminated, but the fatwas have been released now. So maybe they're racing to the final stage because it's always been said they were a week away, but probably then maybe they have been for a long time since at least it got to 60%. There's no way enriching uranium to 60% was ever intended for peaceful purposes. There's no peaceful use to have uranium enriched to 60%. And they say that's 90% of the work. Now, I've taken great issue with Donald Trump claiming that we had destroyed all their nuclear enrichment capabilities, would completely destroy their uranium. If we had, he wouldn't have been worried about it like he is today. And the chief reason I've said, which nobody else has talked about, and probably because they're afraid of offending the president, because he really came down with some people that disagreed with him. But I use science and engineering because what I know is that the centrifuges use a gas which they accelerate to accelerate and centrifugally separate the uranium isotopes for the heavier isotopes. And that gas is uranium hexafluoride. Uranium hexafluoride is is a gas, and it's extremely toxic. Even if it didn't have uranium in it, uh, the fluoride is bad enough, but it's uranium hexafluoride. So it's both chemically toxic, extremely corrosive, and radioactive, all in one fell swoop. It's one of the nastiest things you can imagine. Yet after we bombed Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, what we found was that people run around all over the sites with no special gear on. Why? They could only do that if the stuff was already removed. Remember those trucks we saw, the 21 big trucks? And where do they go? Pickaxe Mountain. Now, what's the key about Pickaxe Mountain? Pickaxe Mountain is got a whole lot more granite protecting it than Fordo. If we're going to use the GBU 157 Bucker Buster bombs, then that's going to require us to throw a whole bunch more in a single hole. And we might go nuclear on this because it just may be. Why is Trump saying the big one? The big one. Well, we do know also that we're sending apparently what 24 more tankers to reinforce the 100 we got. Mind you, each tanker, refueling tanker, can refuel several fighter jets. So we're talking possibly a really massive fighter jet operation, but maybe more. Maybe more, maybe something bigger. Oh, here's another little strange thing. That Shahad drone that struck Cyprus, which is part of Europe, that got the UK decide to join the fray, to join the fight. I was kind of questioning, where did that thing come from? It didn't probably didn't come all the way from Iran. Did it maybe come from the Hezbollah forces in Lebanon? Possibly. But you know what's really strange? They're now reporting that Shahad drone had Russian anti-jamming equipment on board. Russian, which means it might have been one of the Iranian drones being produced or retrofitted in Russia. Is this just something the Europeans are putting out because they want to get into it with Russia? What in the world's coming? This is nuts. It is really nuts what's coming. Guys, we are in the 3rd of March. It's just beginning here where I'm at. I'm, about an hour and 15 minutes into it here in Mountain Time. Guys, this is the Hebrew holy day of Purim. And it's kind of interesting because that had to do when, according to some people, say the Book of Esther is not even real. I don't know, but they really honor it. It is a very different sort of book, and according to the Book of Esther, the Persians were about to wipe out the Jewish people, and suddenly Esther basically saved them. That's my understanding of it. But it's supposed to have been some big holy thing, blah blah blah. I don't know, but it's also a kind of a holiday of war, one they use for retribution. So there's something about this, and we got a blood moon on top of it, maybe just totally coincidental. But we know the elite like the occult symbolism stuff. So what in the world is cooking here? That was a sleeper trigger. Yes, the fact that the fatwas have come out is a trigger for sleeper cells. That's something to be watching right here at home right now. And there's already some experts calling on DHF to increase the terrorism threat level here in the United States, which I think they really ought to do. We do know that the FBI is going to be searching right now for whatever they can find. They are on high alert. So, guys, it's getting serious now. So the bottom line is, if Iran can produce a nuke, if Iran would actually had some already, as it had been suggested that they'd gotten 4 when Kazakhstan fell, if they were ever going to use one, it would be now. Why? If they have one, if they could produce one, and say if's a mighty big word to be so little. Big if. There's a lot we don't know. But if they could, this is when it would be happening, like really soon, like almost instant, because the Iranian regime is on the ropes. They're facing existential threats, the kind that they would use something like this for. They've never faced that before. They've always felt secure before. They always felt that they could be. Do we have sniffers at the border? That would be a scary sign. I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't doubt it. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So I'm trying to get through the main little diatribe. I'm trying to get out this little monologue before I go into the chat room. I'm not going to be pulling up a bunch of articles tonight because I'm just bringing it to you straight from the heart, according to the way I understand it. And what I understand is there's a threat. How it will metastasize, how it will develop, we don't know yet. But we do know it. There's something significant enough that Donald Trump has said he is going to significantly up the game. We're seeing the evidence of it with the movement of these tankers and interceptors coming from other parts of the world where they're critically needed. This is very suggestive that something big is about to go down. And I would expect, just because of the day that it is, 3/3/2026, Purim, blood moon, all that good, happy stuff, that today is very likely to commence in some really serious form. Not to mention, Iranian sleeper cells would probably, since they've been hitting the holy month of Ramadan, would probably like to strike on the Jewish holy day. So this could be the day. I'm not saying it is a day. Don't quote me. I'm saying it could be. What I'm telling you is what's a good prepper advice. It's always to be situationally aware. It's always to be prepared. That's why preppers are preppers. So, and that's what we're here for. So I'm not saying panic. I never say panic because when you panic, you lose your mind. You lose your head. Then you might really lose your, keep your wits about you, but be acutely aware. We could be getting into deep kimchi really fast because this stuff is accelerating. Look what happened is at the onslaught of the attack. I mean, the first day, this particular conflict was probably bigger than the entire 12-day war. This is why Iran is somewhat on the ropes. But Iran has, I call them Iran, not Iran. Iran has their, which is the correct way to say it, because that's the derivative of Aryan, by the way. So yeah, they're the purest Aryan people are Iranians, in case you didn't know, Persian people. But anyway, that's a side note. All that aside, yeah, where's all Hitler's blonde hair and blue eyes? Right here, but I'm not Aryan. I'm not one of them. I'm Nordic. Anyway, all that aside, no, I don't cotton to that kind of thinking. I hate Nazis. Anyway, all that aside, my dad fought him in World War II. Got 3 Bronze Stars doing it. But you know, you know that from my channel that what the left is throwing around and calling is just a pretense to use violence against us. You know, so that's something else that needs to be swept aside. All that aside of it, I digress. I digress. But my friends, here's the thing. Uh, Iran does have a more distributed command structure now. They have empowered their local units in case things happen because they've seen what could happen. They did that intentionally. That's how it is that hitting the head of the snake didn't kill the snake right off. It's, another thing I noticed when I was a kid, you took the head off a snake, that snake would wiggle for hours. And the old grandma's story about it was they would wiggle and move till the sun went down. When I was a kid, I was camping and I shot a copperhead, took its head off because it struck into the load. It's kind of easy to do that when you hit a copperhead. It was like morning. I was going to go wash my dishes in the spring uh, from what I was camping out with, and I built a cabin, lean-to cabin. And I put that snake on the door of the cabin, and I went down just before the sun went down. It was still moving. I went back right after the sun went down. It doesn't know movie. Well, anyway, in Iran, the snake is still right in moving. In fact, we got a new Atolla. Boy, I wouldn't want to be a new leader in Iran right now because how long is their life going to last? They are on a short fuse, and they know it, and that makes them more likely to act. See, this is why everything is getting more dangerous real fast. And like I said, if they got a nuke, or if they can get one, if they can produce one like real fast, I'm sure they're rushing it as hard as they can. Let's hope in rushing they'll make mistakes and the things won't work. But if they can unleash them, they will, and they'll do it really soon. Now, Trump will want to take out pickaxe big time. Is he going to use the GBU bunker buster bombs, or is he going to use something more serious? So these are all things to contemplate. This is why we need to be aware. But personally, right here at home, what's going to affect you is two things. One, the price of gas is likely to go up for two reasons. One, the choking the Strait of Hormuz. It may stay high longer than normal because Iran has already hit one of the oil refineries in Saudi Arabia. If they take out more, it takes longer to fix a refinery than it does to open the Strait of Hormuz. So keep that in mind. This could drive the price of petroleum up, and it could go up real fast. So keep those things, uh, bear that in mind. But the thing I worry about is the activation of sleeper cells right here in the good old US of A. That is the one thing that keeps me up, has kept me up for a long time. That's been one of my biggest concerns, one of my biggest worries. If they got them, this is when you can expect them and or lone wolf actors to start acting out because the fatwa has been issued for that to happen. The fatwa has finally been issued. Are they waiting for Purim? Is there some trigger or other trigger they're waiting on? I do not know. I just tell you on this one, do some serious praying. Prayer works, believe in it. And it's the believing in it that makes it work. And another thing, when you say a prayer to make it more effective, you open that prayer up with praise to God. You open it up with praise to God and some sense of surrender to Him. And then you tell Him what you want, but you tell Him in that, pray for a certain thing in such a way that it has something to do with a bigger, more positive outcome. And in this case, that's easy to do. Okay. Those are some of the keys to making prayer really powerful. And that's what's needed right now more than ever because there's only so many things you and I can do. You and I can't jump in a plane and go over there and fix anything. But we can appeal to the higher order that made the entire universe, that can part the Red Sea, that can heal people in a snap of a finger. And how do I know that happens? It happened to me. I know the power of prayer personally. And I do know this helped a lot of you because we pray for a lot of you, and a lot of you have told me that in major ways. So it's something not to take lightly. Don't joke about it. It's real. It's really real. This is not a religious channel. I'm not here to preach to you, my friends, but I'm here to wake you up that we're facing an existential threat here too, because if our power grid goes down, it is an existential threat to us here at home. Why? I've mentioned, I've shown it in the past. I pulled up the articles of the IEEE report published in 2014. It said you could take the entire U.S. power grid down by taking out just 9 substations. Nine certain critical substations. And I've also reported to you that this data was fastly relayed to the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard back in 2014, and he dismissed it. He said, hey, I've already got 20 of them targeted with sleeper cells. That's what he said back in 2014. And since then, we've had open borders, and only the Lord only knows how many more sleeper cell agents come across our border because we know that Hezbollah was very active in South America. They went in through Venezuela. That's a fact, and we know it. The intel's out there. I think I've shown the chain of articles where that was been demonstrated some many months ago, a couple of years ago. I've shown you guys that. And a lot of those guys kind of worked their way up and come back into our country. And I've even shown y'all the one guy who says, you don't know who I am, but you're going to know who I am. Middle Eastern who came across the border. Oh, that was pretty interesting. So we know there's some people here that don't love us. And some of them are Americans. That's the scariest thing of all. We got a lot of Americans that don't love America. They, it's a mind disease. That's why the Constitution has the oath to defend our country against enemies, foreign and domestic. And right now, that domestic element is probably bigger than it's ever been. And maybe those guys might be the ones doing the most damage. Who knows? I mean, you get some mental woke mind worm in your head, there's no telling what people are going to do. So, uh, in any event, I think we need to be extremely situationally aware because this big one is coming. Donald Trump said so himself. He said the big one is coming. He said he's about to launch a campaign far bigger than it's been before. He's going to accelerate it. What does that mean? Now, we may have some other technologies, but I don't think you'd call his hand using them against Iran. You'd probably save those for China or something like that. You know, a closer near peer in power. So, one of those soldiers that was unalive from my tiny little town, Red Cross, has been there all day with the family. Oh, that's horrible. Well, we lost 6 American soldiers in this conflict so far. That is horrible. The backstory. Sorry to hear that. But you know, that's the human side of this stuff. When you lose somebody, it's not just a number, it's a person, a human being, a father, a dad, a brother, a son, a neighbor. This person is connected from their community, and the community is going to fill every person we lose. But if the grid comes down, we could lose 9 out of 10 Americans, according to the EMP Congressional Task Force from many years ago. And I'm here to tell you they were optimistic in their assessment. And I discussed this with a late great Dr. Peter Vincent Pry. I said, uh, I asked him, I said, did y'all account for, when y'all come up with those numbers, did y'all account for the spent fuel rod pools cooking off the nuclear power plants? He said, no. I said, did you can't figure that the farmers were going to be feeding themselves? He said, yes. You go, and I've done videos where I went around looking at in farming areas like Southeast Georgia is extremely arid, big farming, in North Alabama, and went by farm after farm after farm after farm after farm for miles, no gardens. Or sometimes you see a tiny little garden, and you can bet your bottom dollar most of those gardens are built on stuff you got to buy in the store. And they even, to verify it, even went to Google Earth and the video of this. I showed it from Google Earth. You know, it wasn't they were all hiding in the backyard. So there you have it. We are not, farmers these days grow, commercial crops. They're not subsistence farmers like they used to be, except for us homesteaders. Homesteaders are the exception. And a few people still have the old traditions, especially the people up in Appalachia, the people in the Ozarks. They still live by the old traditions. When I was a kid, I remember everybody growing gardens, big gardens, and putting up food. That was the big thing. They would put up food for the winter and try to have food for several years. I knew a lot of neighbors whose goal was always to keep 7 years supply of food stored. Why? It wasn't called prepping, it was just called being prudent. It was the thing to do because you might have a bad year. They knew that. They understood that. That was what Joseph told the king of the Pharaoh in Egypt. Remember, we'll have 7 fat years, and there'll be 7 lean years. You need to build some grain storage and blah, blah, and you'll be okay if you do that. Well, there you go. So it was always good advice. And they always figured those canned goods were good for 7 years. They're actually good for longer than that typically, except maybe some of the jar can stuff. I have seen some of that stuff go bad. But, you just got to watch that stuff. And you can usually tell when something's bad like that when you open it most of the time. So I do 3 years. Okay. Very good, New Days. Good to see you. Hope you're recovering from your pneumonia. So does the CIA have America's best interest? I'd severely doubt it. There are rank and file members that do. I think, and every once in a blue moon, you might get a director that's not as bad as the others, but for the most part, no. No. I can think of one director who may not be as bad. He's certainly shown a few good stripes about him. But they threw him out. That's Woolsey. But Woolsey had some other problems. Woolsey did have some other problems. But you take Dr. Peter Vincent Pry. He had been CIA, but he was one of the biggest people rallying against the deep state I've ever seen. Boy, he did not like the deep state. And he would tell you there is a deep state. And he'd tell you who it is, and he'd tell you the problems with it. Now, I got people commenting on my Facebook post. Oh, there's no such thing as a deep state. You guys are ignorant. You don't know how governments operate and how agencies metastasize, especially big intelligence agencies. That's the worst case. Ozarks here, very good. Lots of canned goods, home canned goods. Lots of stuff stored back. Good. See, that's what I said. The Ozarks, the Appalachians. See, I grew up in the Appalachians, the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. And I know the culture. That's, the people I come from. That's my roots. Scots Irish. Anyway, so canned soup, grid goes down, and we're eating squirrel heads and gravy. Yeah, you might be glad to have a squirrel head, maybe even a rat head, but you better cook it good if you're eating rat, especially around here where they got hantavirus and all kind of stuff. So, guys, seriously, it is super time to be super prepped, super aware, situationally wise. That is a message I keep bringing you. I'm not going to be here all night tonight like I am some nights. I'm just putting it out here straight to you. I'm telling you what the story is. I'm telling you what you got to be aware of. And I'm just bringing this out because this is the day it could go down. I may not have time to come out and tell you again, so I'm telling you now. This is the day it could go down. I said could. I said could. But it's also time to pray, to mitigate whatever may happen, to pray for our servicemen, to pray for our people here at home, to pray for our nation, to pray for the world more than ever. The swamp can only get deeper under Trump's recent watch, so much so that we have new creatures being discovered every day. Uh-oh, new swamp creatures, that's scary. Well, he did fire a lot of top government officials, but he's done some strange things too. So all that said, uh, guys, let's talk about the bunker busters and such for just a little bit here. Um, what do we know? We know that uh, we know that under the Bush administration, George W. Bush, they were looking to develop a nuclear bunker buster. Now, Congress got a little bit concerned about that. They got really concerned about this nuclear earth penetrator. It was, they worried about it because they worried it would blur the line between conventional war and nuclear war. There was a lot of concerns about that. It was called the Robust Nuclear Earth Penetrator. It was based on some combination of the B-6111 nuclear bomb, perhaps with some elements, a physics package from the B-83 nuclear bomb. They were trying to make something that was less than 5 kilotons in explosive power. So that was that. And they went away from my computer's getting crazy on me. That is weird. I've seen that before. My computer is going nutsos on me. Maybe I'm hacked. Yeah. But um, just in February, we've come up with a new program for a new low yield nuke. And it is the B6113. Now, it's not built on a penetrator type device, but it's powerful enough. It's, 340 to 400 kilotons, which is a lot bigger than what we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which was in a range of 15 kilotons. So these are a lot bigger. If one were dropped over a deep bunker like pickaxes, thought it was because of just the ground deformation would be so severe, it would probably take out the facility. Now, there is no real indication that that's what we're developing to use in Iran. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen. I mean, it looks like what they're planning to do is just drop a succession of the bunker buster bombs into one after another into the same hole until they make the penetration deeper. At least that's what we're told. But, you really got to wonder, what is Trump talking about when he's saying the big one is coming? What are we hitting at? So that, the massive ordnance penetrator is the GBU 57. I said 157 minutes ago. So that is the one that we've been dropping and took out Isfahan. Well, we took out Fordo with it. Uh, and I think tomahawks were actually used against Isfahan, if I recall properly right now. But Natanz, or was it Natanz? Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo. Fordo was the main place that they were really going for, that they thought, that's where the caves were. That's where the trucks showed up. And it's close to Pickaxe. Pickaxe is right close to it. Pickaxe is a little bit higher elevation. That's why they can get in deeper, just going in, tunneling into the side of the mountain. So, and it's apparently hard rock, probably granite. So, pickaxe will be a lot harder to get at um, if they're going for that. But so the bottom line, if you're just joining, what I'm talking about here is that the Moab is something like a fuel air explosive. That's a big explosive that takes out ground troops, turns you into jelly, basically. It's like what fuel air explosives, Fay bombs, or have been referred to as a poor man's nuke, and they make ginormous explosions. But they do it by atomizing the fuel sprayed in the air, and then they detonate it. A lot of fuel. You could come up miniature versions to probably spray like a crop duster. Drones could probably spray fuel in the air and then detonate and make some really devastating explosions. So that's one of the things I worry about with some of the drone technology. That and spraying out F-ball, if you know what I'm talking about. The first letter sounds like Fent, and the very last few syllables are anal, a couple syllables there. So, yikes, guys! Yes, holy crap. Uh, there are some things to severely be worried about right now. Don't panic. Don't ever panic. But if you're prepped, you don't have to worry so much. Except maybe for your family and friends. You can only do so much. Once you've done as much as you can do, I would say, uh, you know, don't fret. Just do as much as you can do, and don't waste time about it. And really hope and pray for your family. You got to be able to take care of your family, friends, and neighbors as much as you can. So that is what we've got to be prepared for, my friends. Like I said, if you know, I had a friend one time who killed a bobcat with his bare hands. He did it because it bit him, and he knew that either he had to kill that bobcat and take it in to be tested for rabies, or he was going to have to go through this horrendous regime of rabies shots. So he took it upon himself. He grabbed that thing and he choked it with his bare hands. The whole time he was doing that, that wildcat was clawing him. All this, it was dying, it was being choked, but it was clawing. And I've seen that, animals do that. They're fighting with their last breath, or past their last breath. That's where Iran may be right now. It may be. It's possible the regime could survive all this. I mean, that's what they were banking on, is that because of their distributed management through the RGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is distributed all over Iran and got their fingers through government and a lot of private companies and everywhere, plus their military, and then the fact that they empowered the local commanders, and you got a lot of other lower level ayatollahs. They probably think that they're a very redundant society, a log raft type society. You might can hit the raft, but you're not going to sink all the logs. And so maybe they're banking on that. And because they're also the only ones in the country with nugs, you saw what happened to peaceful protesters. They couldn't fight back. So, we're wanting those people to take over the regime. They're not going to be able to do it if the other guys got all the nugs. What I mean by nug, take that word and flip it around. I got to be careful what I say here. But, so that's why I believe, and it's really important how our Second Amendment is precious, it's sacred, but we got people wanting to take it away from us. The same people want to take it away from us want to turn the criminals loose in the courts. They want to throw the borders wide open, let all the gangs come in. Is there something wrong with that picture? But anyway, all that aside, uh, guys, here's the thing. We got to be careful with China. China may see this as a big opportunity, us removing Thads and Patriots from their vicinity to bring to this theater. So we may see a move on Taiwan. we may see Russia ramp up what they're doing in Ukraine because they just lost a little land in Ukraine. So Russia is going to be tempted. What's the story about having Russian anti-jamming equipment on the Shahad drone that struck the UK airbase in Cyprus? Is that going to escalate things? Well, that escalate things in Europe. Is that even true? Or is that just a kind of a banner not so true? I'm using other descriptive words, event to try to get Europe engaged against Russia. We know there are people in Europe that just want to take on the bear, which is, they forget that the bear's got a dead hand switch that can activate all their devices at once. The doomsday weapon from the movie Doctor Strangelove. It's real. It exists. Russia's got it. So, my friends, we are treading on thin ice. We're in dangerous territory. And it may be that it was dangerous already. If we did nothing, it might have got worse. That's a strong possibility. So sometimes you have no choice. If you know somebody's about to hit you, the best defense is to hit them first. That's what Putin said. That's right out of the mouths of Putin. As George W. Bush called him Pooty Poot. That was his way to be dismissive to him, I suppose. But at that time, Putin was still rising in power, and I guess he had to take that. So, in any event, guys, be aware, be prepared, get your house in order, say your prayers, be right with your maker, do what you can to defend yourselves and your family. So when you go out, make sure you got some means of self-defense. But one is not enough. Why? Because one is none and two is one. You got to think redundancy. You got to think your stuff may break. It may jam. It might, that's why if you got something with a certain size kibble, what's a kibble? It's what you feed a nug. You know what I mean? They're best served hot. Put in your nug and the nug spit them out hot, if you know what I'm talking about. Well, kibbles come in various sizes called calibers, right? So if you got something that works on a certain nug size or kibble size, make sure you got more than one nug for that. That's what I'm saying. But also, if you can't abide by having nugs, mace, pepper spray, hammers. Oh yeah, get a big, good, heavy claw hammer. It's got an infinite magazine, built-in silencer, and the magazine is infinite. So yeah, a hammer is a pretty good thing. Just ask my son Thor. Anyway, I like to tease. But guys, seriously, I do have Nordic ancestry, over 50%. So yeah, a lot of them went into Scotland. So a lot of the Scottish blood these days, and even a fair bit of the British blood, turns out to be Nordic. That's what we found out in my family. But anyway, so all that aside, get yourselves ready. Be prepared. Don't waste any time about it. I'm not going to go much longer. This is about it. We'll read through some of the chat. We'll do the egg guess because that's our tradition here, right? So, how come my cursor's being a pain here? I'm going to read through the chat here instead of over my shoulder. Fazioli. Yeah, him and Zen Jammin are usually one of the others first in the house. So Fazioli made it tonight. Halo. Wendy. Zim Jammin was third tonight, at least in the chat. Yeah, y'all are real close to each other. Good to see y'all both. All the sun. I'm Allison, right? Rick's memes. Good evening, Greg. Worm Wranglers. There we go. Spunky Sugar. Good to see you. New days. Morning, everyone. Yeah, well, I got to get up and go to bed. I got to go. Well, I need to go to bed before I get up. I'm not sure I'll pull that off. Tom Hart. Good to see you. Civil defense bunker, shortwave. Oh, that's the other thing I've been meaning to mention since last time. Thank you for reminding me. You should go see Doug and Doug's channel and Common News 777. He's been reporting for 2 or 3 days now that, or at least I've been sending the texts I get from him. I get texts from him. because we're all active in our Freedom Restoration Foundation. He's been saying that the shortwave noise, racket, and chatter is gone off the charts. And that's thought to be a sign of impending sleeper cell activity, that they're organizing. They're getting ready. Let's hope it's something else, but what is it? You got him, Rochelle. Hey, doing, Rochelle. And we got Esma. How you say it? Esma Darlington. Okay. Guys, are y'all seeing more chatter than normal? I suppose that their chatter would either be in some kind of code or encrypted, or maybe they got code words. I don't know. Y'all hear anybody that sounds funny? As our data streams going through that's unusual? Doug over at the 7-7, maybe something's about to happen close to him. He's saying that the chatter is way up, and that's never a good sign, especially at a time like this. So I'd like to see what you guys are hearing, because we got some hams in the house, and that's always a good thing. If you're a prepper, being a ham is a good thing. Aussie Farmer. Oh, I got Australians in the house. Thanks, Greg. Whenever serious events arise in the world, I always log in and check out your advice and opinions. Well, thank you. No matter where you're at in the world, this could come to you. Thanks, mate. And 1,800-acre, well-defended stock farm in Australia. Well, you are in a good spot. You are in a real good spot, because if we go to nuclear war, you're not going to see the radiation that we're going to have up here, and the clouds, so that all the dust going in the upper atmosphere that would cause a nuclear winter should be less in the southern hemisphere. It will probably go global, but it'll probably fall out faster. So you are in one of the best places to be. As long as China don't invade Australia. That's the thing you got to hope and pray about there. Anyway, so let me go through the chat here. See, keep your pet nugs clean and fed. There you go, Tom. Exactly. Keep them, yeah, oil them. If you hadn't cleaned yours lately, it's time to do it. So let's see. Rick Thompson, how you doing? 109 viewing. I hope I got more than that now. Yeah, 192. So we got a pretty good crowd for this late crazy hour. David Jones, EMP may be into play. It could be. If there was the Stacy Savicki vision, it could come true. And if somebody was going to launch an EMP on us, this might be the time they'd do it, and do it from our southern soft underbelly when we're not monitoring stuff. Yeah, it would be a lot easier way to do it. Just some cargo container ship out of an ISO shipping container. I've shown you those kind of missiles before. They exist, and you could fire one or two over her vision had two coming over the United States. So I don't know, my friends. It would be a bad day. That would really fry those transformers. That's what we got to worry about, sir. Big, high power, long range transformers getting fried. Those things are 200 to 400 tons apiece. They're as big as a house. There's only like a handful of rail cars. I think it's 11, and only a handful of trucks that can move those things. And it takes you like three years to get them on the loading dock after you order them. The time is stretched out. And on top of that, if 9 out of 10 people or more perish before it comes in, who's going to install it? And how are you going to order it when the grid's down? And all the order and requisition means these days is by the internet, and all your money is stored digitally in banks. How are you even going to order one? And if you manage to order it and get it in, who's going to be around to get it installed? Society is going to already be broke down. That's what I'm saying. We may never come back from this. You should see my videos where I'm talking about iPencil. You should see my Nuke In Every Pot video. You should see the video where I just talked about the democratization of destruction. And I'm explaining how, guys, we used to be able to poke a stick in the ground in Pennsylvania. The movie The Beverly Hillbillies is all about Jed hunting for some food. Shoots in the ground and up comes bubbling crude. You don't see that no more. You got to go offshore several miles and drill the way down to get that stuff. You could used to pick up copper nuggets right off the ground. Now we're mining 4 parts per 1,000 in big copper mines like Anaconda right here in Arizona. So this is not easy to get at. Christians are not afraid to die for Christ. True, but you still got to take care of your family. You got to do what you can. It's our job to resist evil as long as we can. It don't mean just because you're not afraid, don't mean you're supposed to surrender. It's like one of the disciples asked Jesus if he should trade his coat in for a sword. And Jesus said, "Yeah." I told him they get two swords. And I think no, the disciple came back and said he had two swords. I think Jesus told him that. No, Jesus told him to trade his cloak for a sword. And he said he had two. And Jesus said something to the effect that I reckon that's good enough. I'm paraphrasing it to, redneckese. Anyway, guys, so these are things to take into account. And these things you got to consider when times go bad. You know, uh, these are all things to consider. Just because you have faith in Jesus don't mean you're supposed to surrender. No, he never commanded that. He said turn the other cheek, but he never said surrender. He didn't say you don't defend yourself. He never said you don't defend your loved ones. He would expect that because that's your basic duty. And if you shirk from your duty, he's not going to be happy with that. So there you go. Camp Birdie. We have 4 large, heavy helicopters to go over. Wow, that's interesting. So you're not too far from me, Rochelle. Camp Verde. More than normal military activity in northern Mexico location. Uh, hmm. Rural San Antonio. Okay, Rick. Yeah, there's probably some gang activity. Now, here's another thing. If the sleeper cells are going to be activated, what about the gangs who are tied to China? If China decides to make this an opportunity to move on Taiwan, they may be activating their sleeper cells here too. It may be one big happy sleeper cell party. And, you can expect the drug cartels to chime in on it. Look what they've been doing in Mexico lately. Oh, deep function 100,000 minus one. Operation Epic Blunder. I don't know. Maybe. They launched a nuclear loaded satellite a few years back. Well, it's been thought that Russia may have launched one. And everybody thought it's an anti satellite weapon, as if they're ignoring the fact that a nuclear anti-satellite weapon is an EMP weapon. And about the only way to keep them causing a major EMP destruction somewhere in populated areas of the world is to detonate it over Point Nemo in the Pacific Ocean. It's about the only place you can do it. So it's kind of ridiculous they don't talk about it for what it is. That's why you got me here. I'm the one who can give you this kind of analysis that you're not going to see anywhere else out on the internets, the interwebs. What did W. Bush call it? Anyway, Rosary War, how you doing? Natal, is that Nataleg? Natalig? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Do you remember back in the 90s, the Russians had a manufacturing contract with Mexico making tanks, and Mexico would be allowed to keep 5% of what they made? No, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Catherine, Catherine, uh, let's see, Catherine Hickey. Okay. Amen. I never ever saw or heard tanks ever being shipped out. Ooh, interesting. Well, Mexico's got a socialist president now. There were major protests in Mexico at her presidential palace. They wanted to oust her because they thought she was too friendly with the drug gangs. So go figure that one. Thank you, Spunky Sugar. We always need prayer warriors. Amen. I think this agreement lasted 10 years. Well, there's no telling what's down there then. Some are mentally and spiritually sick. Oh, yeah, a lot of them. I love America, but I don't like how we have been manipulated or how we've been manipulated to allow it to continue. Well, TV programming, when they call it program, because it's programming you. Pop culture, same thing. Hello from Hawaii. Hey, Skippy. Hi, Skippy. Could mean he's going to hit Cuba next. Well, Lindsey Graham said Cuba's next, but I think he's talking about I think he's talking about Iran. Something big is going to go down there. I'm expecting. That's what I'm expecting. How do we hide from their drones reliably? Well, get underground, dig down. Maybe you can in heavy force somewhat, but it's not easy. Now, if you're a long way from where the drones might be flying, most of these drones don't, most of the quadricopters at least have limited range. The big Reaper drones, they can fly across the world. But at least the quadricopters have limited range, at least most of them so far. So maybe the ones that we were seeing in New Jersey a while back, whatever those were, and all over their military installations around the world. I don't know why we just call them New Jersey drones. Um, the new generation can't heat a suit, can escape. Oh my gosh. Oh Lordy, guys. Yeah, we've gotten so dependent. That's just scary. Absolutely scary. Situation where be vigilant. Yes. James Tally. How you doing, James? Potatoes already coming up. Good. Got your garden starting near North Carolina. Nothing like a uh, mess of fried squirrel, fried potatoes, and biscuits and gravy. Amen to that. Oh no, squirrel don't quite taste like chicken. It's a little gamey, but it's good. I've ate my share of squirrel. Why do we need so many data centers? Well, supposedly we're in an AI race with China, but that's a good question. Really good question. Buffering? That's not good to know. I sit on my computer over here, but I was having problems with my cursor for a little bit. Kind of strange. So when I started talking about it, it went away. I guess the whoever's got me hacked don't want to show their hand. Uh-oh. I got to worry about that. I might run some virus checker, but that stuff usually ain't all that great. So stuck nets, yes. Came came in to turns on. Get in people into jail. You mean jail there, AOL, AOE life. Rat was tough enough to control, and just look how to stabilize Iraq and how Iran is going to be the whole nother situation. Yeah, uh, Iran is a lot bigger. Now, oh yeah, here's another point. They were saying there'd be no boots on the ground, but now they're saying they're not ruling out boots on the ground. When we first went in, we were talking about 2 weeks. Now they're saying 4 or 5. And considering how hard we hit them, that means they're really planning to go deep. And just telling them that, and even reporting that the big one's about to start, might be enough to trigger Iran to do whatever they got. So they're saying we it used to first sergeant would tell his troops, if you got them, light them. Well, that may be what Iran's saying now. If you got them, light them. 4 to 5 gallon gas cans put back. Good moves, Monkey Sugar. We may want to be careful that China doesn't do us like Trump did Iran. Could happen. Guys, the United States of America is positioned in the best place for any nation on earth because you got to cross oceans to get to us. We got this huge Mississippi River Valley in our heartland and a huge agricultural area in the plains, and all that's connected to a great natural low-cost shipping system through the rivers, almost the entire middle end of the country. And the other parts of the country on the other sides of the Appalachians and Pacific are there, the ocean access. The United States of America has got a lot of resources. Most of it is not tapped because we got it locked up in national parks and this, that, and the other. But we are a resource-rich nation. We are blessed to have a lot going for us. This is the apple of the world. And you can bet countries like China are very envious. It may be why we got all these biolabs here in the United States. Maybe why we got chemical labs showing up now. I've just done a few videos on that. just recently on the chemical labs. Guys, they may want to just take us out and come in here and replace us with their own people. Just take this for their own. I did a video years ago showing how they could pack troops, crazy amounts of troops in those ISO shipping containers, and how they could make it across the ocean, how they could provision them in such a way that troops could survive in them undetected and cross the ocean and be released, and how they could put a big invasion force here in the United States. And I would assume they could at least take California because of the lax gun laws there. Whoops, I said the word. Nug laws. And, how far they could get is another question because behind every blade of grass, and that's the way it needs to be. I think if you got something really important behind every blade of grass, any invasion of this country, no matter what kind of weapon systems they bring to fore, would be hard to press. So, well, you're welcome, Chris. MMMMM. Uh, what's this? Asahoria philosopherium. That's a mouthful, whatever that whatever that word is. Greetings. North Texas gas increase today. Well, we might see more of that. I still don't know what I'm paying for it. So yeah, what do we got going here? I think I'm already at the bottom. Did I skip? He is reading old message. He is reading old message, not up to, yeah, okay, yeah. I start at the top and I'm scrolling down. You got to give me a few minutes here. I'm just trying to cover because when I come on here, for the benefit of the coffee drinkers who watch me in the morning, I try to hit the news first. They know that, so they go, "Oh my God, an hour video." Well, they know automatically they don't have to watch an hour to get the essence of what it's about, because then I go in and I interact with the people that's in the chat room after that. A lot of YouTubers, I'll ignore the chat room unless I get a super chat. Now, maybe I should do that because I'm not getting any super chats tonight. Maybe I should do that. But, we are a family here. I have a hard time with that, but I do try to read through the chat, at least as much as I can. Sometimes I have to go through it fast just because of time, and really and truly I should tonight, just because I got to get up early. But I'm at the bottom now. Renewing my ham radio certificate. Chatter is steady, more communicating, more communication being shared. Okay, Skippy. So I take it then that the chatter is there. You're kind of confirming what I've been hearing from Doug. Already burning that midnight oil. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here. I got to hit the sack. Um, but does not get utilized due to political restraints that they put on business. Yes, yeah, we're not utilizing our resources, but you can bet if China come in here, they wouldn't have any restraints. They'd just start digging right off the bat. Greg, you said you were getting off early tonight, and you're still going, well, I wasn't planning to do this tonight to start with. It's just that this story, I just needed to come on here and let you know that Trump is saying the big one's coming and try to paint what it might mean, the gravity of it, and what it might mean for us here at home with the fatwas that's been issued and other things going down. Folks, it's time to get serious, not to panic. It's never time to panic. Even Canadian Pepper of the day said it's time to panic. He's always said it to me. I've always said, no, I don't tell you that because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it for a minute. Greg, can you do a take on Jesse on Fire video? They claim that they may have stopped WMD incident last November in USA. It's called I Have No Choice. I haven't seen that. Jesse on Fire. I'm not familiar with him. Stopped WMD last November. That wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Trump going to send in alien dogs. Hey, I don't know. I don't know. The big one, the big dog, big one may have been a solar nova. No, I don't think the sun's about to go into nova. I don't see no signs of that. We might get a big flare. Might get a giant EMP, CME, coronal mass ejection, because there's maybe some big sunspots on the other side of the sun, but I don't know. A barrel of crude oil is trading $80 a barrel. All right, so yeah. All right, well, hit the road, Pilgrim. Glad to see you in the house tonight. All righty, folks, I got to wrap this up. We're going to do the egg guess, but hold on. Don't guess yet. Don't guess yet. Hold on. Let me get ready. Wait till I say go, because I don't want somebody to be guessing and I'm not looking. All righty, folks. Go. How many eggs I get today? How many eggs I harvest today? Time to guess. Go. How many eggs I get today? Folks aren't guessing. We got 199 in the house. We're wrapping up for anybody that's just joining you. You need to catch the rewind. Keep guessing. 21. No, I only got 4 hens. I don't, wait, I only got 12 hens. 57. Whoa, AOE Life got it. 4. AOE Life got it. 4. 4. 4. 4 is the number. All right, stop guessing, because I got another question for you. You got it, AOE Life. All righty, folks, stop guessing now. You got to come. Don't be guessing the other number yet. Wait, wait, wait. I still got numbers coming in. It must be a lot of delay in the system. All right, guys, slow down. I know we got some delay. It was 4. 144 eggs. That would be interesting. 20 now. That would make some busy hens if they were laying 12 apiece. You got one? All right, Rochelle. Guys, slow down. Stop. Because I got another question for you. Okay, I think you stopped. How many Easter eggs I get today? How many Easter eggs? Guess again. Go. How many Easter eggs? How many Easter eggs? Keep going. I got it first. Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry. Busy birds. 2. AOE Life. You got it. 2. 2. 2 Easter eggs. All right, here's the eggs. It's 2 Easter eggs. 4 eggs total, 2 Easter eggs. And I don't know, I got a kind of a yellowish light, so it's kind of hard to see the Easter eggs real color. These are bluish green eggs right here. And these are Dominecker eggs. Now, I got more Domineckers than Easter eggers, so the Easter eggers are doing their job right now, I guess. But, hey, I had 8 yesterday, right? I believe it was 8. Today is 4. So I'll probably get 8 tomorrow, maybe. Or some good number, 7 or 8. That's what I'm expecting. All righty, folks. I would ask more questions, but we need to go. It's late. So, bottom line, be prepared. Bottom line, get ready. Bottom line, be situationally aware. Stock up on your gas. Make sure your fuel tanks are always more than half full. Keep them topped off. If you got cans, fill them with gas. You might want to put some that gas extender. What do you call that stuff you put on some heat, something like that, to make so it won't gel, last longer. Might want to do that. Get ready though. Maybe hit some, sleep. That's what I need to do. You're so right. And we all need rest. We're living in a jittery time right now with so much going on. Oh, one thing I worry about. We had 3 F-15Es taken out over Kuwait by friendly fire. Chances are that was just a mistake. They probably thought the system was probably the way it's programmed, probably mistook them for the Shad drones that come in flying in formation, because these 3 were coming in together. But I really have to wonder, when you're in certain countries, sometimes you get people that are supposed to be on your side and maybe they're not. The religious element sometimes kicks in. You got to wonder if that friendly fire was so friendly. And thank you. I just see something very friendly here tonight. We got a super chat. Thanks for coming on tonight. God bless everyone. Well, thank you there, uh, C. Shelley. Been a while since I've seen you, C. Shelley. Good, thank you. Salute to C. Shelley. Appreciate that. So, oh, that's probably just in case somebody's lurking in that, and Kim Possible sometimes lurks, and because she works at night, not really lurking, but sometimes she's not chatting in the chat room. But she's been known to give a donation or two while we're through my website, Green Greg's website donate button. I am sure USA Todd told them that they were flying over. Hey, I don't know. I don't know, guys. That was friendly fire. They were apparently coming back from a bomb run from a mission and got hit. The good thing is they were hit by Patriots. The good thing about it is Patriots don't go for the cockpit; they go for the tail end of the craft, so it makes it more survivable. We had each of the F-15s had a pilot and a weapons officer in them. The two people in each one of those F-15s, six people, all six of them ejected and parachuted safely, which is really good because typically the number you say once you do an ejection, you only got like an 80% survival rate. 80%. For all those guys to eject safely and survive is a really good thing. How is Granny Atlanta doing? Oh my gosh, you don't know? Rochelle, Granny Atlanta passed away. Granny Atlanta passed away over a year ago. That's why, I used to always say ho, ho, ho at the end of my video. Because I look kind of like Santa Claus. I got all these Santa Claus. And she used to always pop in, I believe. And that's why I keep that going. I did it for her. And then after she's passed away, I just do it in her memory. She'd always chime in, I believe, when I go ho, ho, ho. If y'all wonder why I end videos that way, that's why. No, she passed away. Sorry, Rochelle. I thought everybody knew that. She has passed away. Uh, she would always have us praying for her granddaughter Kaylee instead of her. She cared more about her kids. And these are kids she adopted. And she had a history of adopting problem children and taking care of them. The woman had a big heart. She's a frail lady. Her body was frail, but her heart was big. And that's why we honor her to this day. She was a regular. She loved the channel. She loved all you guys. But she's passed away. It's been over a year now, maybe longer. It's been a while. So definitely was family. That's why, I pay her some homage usually at the end of a video because she was a sweetheart, and we got to appreciate things like that. We really do. Um, so what, guys, we got to go. I got to get out here. I got to get up. So I just want to thank everybody here. So thank you, C. Shelley, for the generous super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean. And thank you, everyone, for coming here tonight and watching. Give me a thumbs up on the way out, please. Give me some thumbs up. Oh, it'll be a year on March the 17th. Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. March the 17th is a big day for you. That's tragic. That's tragic. My dad died on March the 20th. He probably delayed it to miss somebody else's big day. Oh, new days. That's so sad. Yeah, you're not gonna forget that. So it'll be a year, March the 17th. So let's hope come March the 17th, we're all still here and able to come on here and chat. Let's hope the grid's still working. So full eclipse moon, 5:13 a.m. Oh shoot, I might miss that because I gotta hit the hay. I gotta hit the hay. But guys, yes, we have the full moon, the blood moon. I got to go to bed. So the fact that I'm up here means I got to sleep through it. So sorry if you lose them. Yeah, she was a friend. We talked to her a few days, talked to her a lot. She told me she was going to die. Oh, she told you that. Oh, so you never forget her? Wow, we don't forget her. We don't forget her. Wow. Yeah, y'all were pretty tight. Pretty tight. Hmm. Sad, sad. Alrighty, folks. Let's just hope and pray we get through this stuff. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I gotta scramble. I've been on here for an hour, over an hour now, 69 minutes. Yikes. I meant to keep it really short tonight. Mississippi Outpost. Has anyone heard about our air base getting hit in the Mideast? We've had several air bases hit. That's how we lost 6 Americans in Kuwait and other places. Uh, Wormy, how you doing, Wormy? We're 3-3. It is 3-3. It's Purim. Yeah, that's why I'm expecting stuff to happen. Well, yeah, they've hit several bases. They've hit a lot of our bases there. A lot of their missiles have come through. That may be why we're trying to rush more interceptors on the site. Ah, so there you go. We are in perilous times, my friends. So that we are estimating, we believe, upwards to 16 United States installations have been hit. Yeah, they've hit like 15 countries, I think, or some crazy number. They hit everybody in the area in the region. Iran struck every other country in the region, kind of like kind of like a what do you call it? I'm getting brain lock. I know the guy's name. I'm trying to think of it about Samson option. They say if Israel thinks they're going to be wiped out, they're going to launch everything they got. Samson option. Well, that's kind of like what Israel's doing right now. That's why I'm saying if they got a nuke, you better expect it maybe popping off soon if they have one, if they can put one together. That's why you better be watching for sleeper cell activity, especially today. Especially today. Yes, 2 days before she passed, she was talking on the phone. That's what she told me. Wow, miss her terribly. I'm so sad. I'm so sad for you there. Anyway, y'all talked almost every day for many years. Yeah, I knew you guys were tight. Yeah, I talked to her some, but you're the one that really talked to her the most. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Debbie. Kind of like shaking a hornet's nest. Yeah, pretty much. A wonderful friend, a true gift. That's the thing about it. When you somebody like that, passes away, just remember that you got to share time with them. You got to know them and just celebrate that. Celebrate the impact, positive impacts they made in the world. And sometimes that's just through sharing your heart and your love. She had a big heart. We know that. Never have I before. Never have you what before. My mom tells me she loves me every day. I find rocks and heart shapes. Oh, wow. That's sweet. That is sweet. Guys, love is the real answer to all things. And we got to find a way to overcome our hatreds or we're not going to survive as a species. That is crucial. We've got to overcome our hatreds. It's hard to do when you're in a state of war. It's hard to do when you got global leaders with ill intent in their hearts. The problem with governments is that the psychopaths tend to float up. Especially there, I would wager there's no authoritarian leader in the world that's not a psychopath. To be an authoritarian leader, you have to be a psychopath to stay in power. That's a scary thing. That's the scary thing. Hate and revenge, they're both terrible. Hate, revenge, envy. Yeah, I got to get some rest. I got to get some rest. Anyway, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow too. I take off from work a little bit early. Yep, defunction 100,000 minus one. We got an elite running this world today, and they don't love us. Bet your bottom dollar on that. To them, we're useless eaters. But we know better. If you got a heart, you're a human being. You've got a soul. That's what counts. So don't lose your soul. Don't let them take it from you. That's what they want to do. They want to take your soul. Don't allow it. Greed. Yes, see, Shelley. Amen to that. Greed. Envy and greed go hand in hand. Socialism is based on envy. Communism is based on envy, but the greed's there too. And the rich people, well, greed. The global elite, greed. So from the top, it's greed. From the bottom, it's envy. Both of them are wrong. We got to come from the heart. We got to come from love. It's wrong coming from both sides. We've got to get through that and come from the heart. Jesus said the temple is within you. Is that what he meant? Yes. From the heart, from love. That's where you find God. I like rock hounds. There you go. Well, you'd love it here. I got all kinds of rocks, every kind of rock you can imagine. Ego, let go of ego. That's right, Debbie. Kind of reminds me of that commercial. Let go of my ego. Let go of my ego. Well, let go of my ego. Yeah, ego is a big part. Getting too wrapped up in yourself. Don't mean you can't have a sense of individuality. I think that's cool. But to be so wrapped up in yourself, yeah, you get pride. Ego leads to pride. Pride goes to destruction. What was the greatest sin of Lucifer? Became Satan, the devil. Pride. Pride. Because he was too beautiful. I love rocks too, but seashells most. There you go. I've collected my share of seashells. They are beautiful. They are definitely beautiful. A lot of beautiful things in nature. I love taking photographs of sunsets. If you happen to see my Facebook site, you'll see I post those a lot. Anyway, we got to go. It's 75 minutes in, and I have a hard time getting away from you guys. I just love chatting with y'all. I love you guys. So, love you guys. It's just hard to get away, but I got to do it, or I'm going to be in trouble tomorrow. So, hey, thank you, C. Shelley, for the wonderful super chat again. Thank you, mods. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Please, please, please hit the thumbs up on the way out and share my videos. Go in, this platform stomps me, so go in the bottom in the comment section after my video post and leave a note. I'm probably not going to do no thumbnail tonight. I might just do my image. I got to get out of here, so I got to cut it short tonight. I usually do various things processing the video after I put it up. We're not going to do it tonight. Just my friends, yeah, check out switchwithgreg.com. Check that out. And that's a way to not empower those elites we're talking about and not have so much nasty stuff in their products. Anyway, thank you, everyone. To one and all, wherever you are, a good day, good night. Ho, ho, ho. In memory of Granny Lana. Greg out.